Hi, this is Dave DeVries, and you're listening to the Marvel Card Collector Podcast. Aren't you lucky?
Hello, everybody. My name is Ian Taylor, and welcome to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast, brought to you by the Marvel Cards Fan Collective, an awesome community of card collectors and creators. You can find our two groups on Facebook, details of which are at the end of this podcast, so come check us out. With me is my co-pilot in all things Marvel, the delicious and insightful Norrin Rad. Say hi, buddy.
Hey, everyone.
I love changing up the words I describe you with each episode. That's going to get more outrageous.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see the adjectives flow.
Good. I need to actually write some down rather than think of them on the fly. Never mind. Episode 3 already.
I know.
Time flies when you're having fun.
Yep.
Good. So for folk listening, we haven't actually dropped any of these episodes yet. We're just kind of banking them up and recording them. So I'm sure once we do release some of these, we'll have feedback from some of the listeners.
Yeah, and ideas are always appreciated. Things you guys want to hear for episodes, anything like that would be great. So we can keep going.
Exactly. And what you will have heard in the end kind of outro, you can leave messages for us via Anchor, where the podcast is hosted. So on Anchor FM, the link escapes me at the moment, but it is in the outro for the episode, so you'll find it there. And you can leave us a voice message if you want. You can leave us a question. You can leave us a comment. You can leave us something nice, and chances are, if it's good, and if it's good audio, and it's a good question, and we like you, and you're not being rude, we'll include it in an episode.
Perfect.
So yeah, we need to actually test that out. So today, Norrin.
Yes.
I'm holding in my hand a copy of X-Force, issue 16 from 1992, The Executioner's Song, part 4, which is polybagged, which features within it an official trading card featuring Strife's strike file. That's not easy to say when you've had enough gin.
No. Can't say that 10 times in a row.
But we're not here to talk about Strife's strike file. We're here to talk about the advert that's on the back of this issue, which is an advert for Marvel Masterpieces 1992, the first, for many still the greatest.
The OG.
The OG by Joe Jusko, and it's absolutely amazing. What I love about looking, so listen, we're talking about Marvel Masterpieces 1992, and probably 2016 in this episode. So brace yourselves. And if you don't dig that series, stick around and listen, because by the end of this episode, maybe you'll love it. So I'm looking at this, and it says, they say a great artist puts his soul into his work. And it goes on to say, obviously, we put a great deal into the new Marvel Masterpieces collector cards. This limited edition 100-card series coming in October is captivating, to say the least. 5 bonus cards with never-before-seen design process plus sealed numbered boxes make this set one you won't want to miss. And it's brilliant. It's got the pictures there of the Wolverine, the Red Skull, the Mephisto, and then at the bottom in small, it's got Spider-Man, Psylocke, and Hulk, who were the promo cards. So it's brilliant.
That's right.
Nowhere on this, and this is quite funny. Joe Jusko, good evening, sir. Welcome. Is a member of MMC and MCCW.
Yeah.
And he very, very kindly jumps on from time to time and drops us a little nugget or pearl of trivia. And the one interesting thing about this advert is he's not mentioned on it anywhere.
Wait, his name's not on it?
His name is not on this advert. It's not on there at all. And I think, and
what the hell?
I'm sure he'll correct me if I'm wrong, is that they had to do this. They had to put this advert out a significant number of months before, because the comic was printed ahead of time, yeah? and you have to design it and get it to press and all that. And I think they were from what I think he said on one of the either on one of the posts or maybe in an interview I read somewhere else, that they weren't sure he'd get it finished in time, so they might need to drop other artists in. So they left his name off, which seems awfully rude, but never mind.
Extremely rude.
Yeah, the set came out, and so first of all, what I love about this set is the promos, because there's some pretty good old school early '90s different promos to Hunt action.
Is there? So how many promos are? So I know you have, and I know the promos because the Surfer's one of those promos.
Yeah,
for sure. And then you have also the Lost Marvel cards, right? Those are the lost ones, the like 5 or 6 of them that are pretty rare as well, like the Deathbird.
Yes.
Or is that part of the promo?
No, they're not. They were in the tins, I believe.
Tins, right? And there's right. So there were 35,000 tins produced.
Yeah.
And they came with 5 exclusive Lost Marvel cards.
That's right.
And the boxes were foil sealed, and they were 350,000 boxes.
So there's a lot of them around. There's a lot of these cards around.
Especially compared to 2016, to a lot of the more premium sets. It's compared to what Marvel Masterpiece is today.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous
exactly
how many are out.
Which is why whenever people come into the group or and say, "Hey, I'm interested, I don't know where to start," I always say, "Listen, it's really affordable to start with Marvel Masterpieces 1992. You'll have a great set with some absolutely amazing artwork.
Yeah.
And if you get one of the tins, I know with age some of the older cards do stick together a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful. Just cracking one of those open. I bought one of the tins. In fact, that's how I got my set. I bought one of the tins, and of course it's all sealed within it, and it's beautiful because you got Joe's artwork on the tin as well. And
is Captain America on the tin?
Nice. Hey, it is somewhere behind
I think
me.
it is, right?
No, Hulk is on the front. Yeah, Hulk's on the front. No, Captain America. There it is. It's over there.
Oh yeah.
I would go and get it, but for the fact that I'd have to walk away and leave all of our listeners hanging.
We're card collectors. We're meant to stay in one spot. Let's not do anything out of our nature.
Yeah, we're meant to stay in one spot and put on weight. So, so basically there were I think there were 9. I think there were 3 prototype cards that actually had prototype printed on the back. So I'm just going to open my binder here. So you got the 3 prototype cards, and then you had 6 promos. So obviously one of the promos is Surfer, one of them's Hulk, one of them's Wolverine. You would think I would have done my research and know the others off the top of my head, but you then had the prototype cards, and the prototype cards were the same. So I think 3 of the promos are repeated as prototype cards, but they just had prototype printed on the back.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So
I love all that stuff, though.
But what I love about it is that you can really easily find some of these promos. Some of them are an absolute devil. If I remember correctly, the Wolverine one is the hardest one to find.
I think so. Like there's a Spider-Man, Wolverine, and Hulk, and those are the set of 3 prototypes, the ones that have prototype written on the back, I believe.
Yeah, exactly. And you can find most of them pretty easily. So I've got a copy of Marvel Age, which was like a Marvel. It kind of ran for about 150 odd issues, and it was basically Marvel kind of previews, if you like, kind of promoting their own stuff. Had little articles about sets they were going to come out and things like that. And in Marvel Age issue 118, Marvel Age is a cheap, it's a dollar bin find. You'll find this really easily.
That's awesome.
And it's polybagged, and it has the Hulk promo in, just there. So as part of my collection, I say just there, people listening to this can't see that I'm holding up to the video that we're sharing a picture of the Hulk promo, mint and sealed within that polybag. So I've got an open one of these as well. I got my whole promo out of. That sits in my Marvel Age collection in my long boxes here. But I can
I love
keep,
that you started collecting those. Those
yeah,
are just fantastic finds. I
but I
mean,
can
to
keep
think
that
that,
sealed. You know,
well, to think you can go to a comic book store and still get those sealed, or
yeah,
they're just stacked in long boxes somewhere. Like,
exactly.
I caught, like, going to be the Surfer stuff. I did get the one where the Surfer promo was featured, and
Ah,
I can't. It popped up on eBay. I've never seen it. It popped up on eBay in mint condition, still sealed, and it
wow.
has the Surfer card in it, and it's the Comics Buyer's Guide price guide for October and September of 1992.
Oh,
And
superb.
I'm gonna show you, and can't show everybody else, but it was originally $12.
Well, pop a picture up on the group. Wow. Oh, that's beautiful. And is that still sealed?
Sealed.
That's absolutely gorgeous.
And the card, I mean, the card's still there. It's in, I mean, really pretty shape. I mean, I'm not a grader, but that's definitely above a 9
That's
for
nice.
sure.
That's nice.
Yeah, it's crazy. I got lucky. I don't know. I saw it. It was up there. It was like $20 maybe, but I've never seen another one really posted.
Nice. No,
Yeah.
I need to track the rest of them down. So here we go. So the deal, right, here we go. So you had I'm just looking on, and listen, most of the people listening to this will know about this site. If you don't know about this site, get thee to the interweb right now and have a look on NS, that's N for November, S for sugar, lists.com.
Yeah.
And it's Jeff Allender's House of Checklists. Now, I've never met Jeff. I mean, I've never met you. You know, we've videoed, but
Yeah.
he has got a Facebook presence. I don't think he's in our groups, but anyway, the guy's legendary.
Really?
He's I don't think he is. I need
I'm
to
inviting him right now
But
because that's ridiculous.
his site is absolutely vast. It has every. I mean, it's not just Marvel. It's got DC. It's got entertainment cards on there. It's got all sorts of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But as a resource for knowing what's out there, it's absolutely phenomenal. And it says at the bottom, copyright 1997 is the first date. So he's been doing this for 22 years since the internet was in diapers.
Wow. Well, I mean,
You know?
his site is the site you go to find.
Yeah. Exactly. So
Wow.
this is a real labor of love. Anyway, so I'm looking at that now and I'm referring to this. So you had the dealer promo pack, which was this cellophane wrap set marked prototype, and in that you had Hulk, Spider-Man, and Wolverine. Okay, so those are the three that had prototype.
Those are the three.
Yeah, and then you had the promo card. So you got Captain America, which came. It says here Advanced Comics, and then it has scoreboard afterwards. I'm not sure what scoreboard is. Then it has Hulk, unnumbered, Marvel Age 1-1. It says Marvel Age 1-1 there, but I know it's 118, so I think that's a typo on the site. Then you've got Psylocke, unnumbered. That was in Wizard issue 13.
Oh yeah.
Then you've got the Silver Surfer. That was in Comic Book Buyer's Guide that you've just mentioned. Then you've got the Spider-Man, which is the iconic image that was on all the promo posters for the set.
Also the poster, which is just epic.
Yeah, the poster. That's a big one item for me. So if anyone listening,
Yeah, you don't have it yet.
No, I really don't have that yet.
Isn't there a signed edition one too?
I think, you know what? If it's signed, great. If not, I don't mind. You know, I just love a copy of it because at some point I am going to stalk Joe. Sorry, Joe. Get your legal team on it now and ask you to sign it. So, but that came in previews, and then finally you had Wolverine, which was in Up and Coming, whatever that was.
Wow.
So you had a decent run of promos that were spread across, most of the things happening at the time. And then of course the set dropped. And I remember seeing a promo flyer, a picture of a promo flyer that Joe had put on the group. And I think I found it also as a Google image. I'm just looking in my folder here because I know I have an image of that promo flyer. And it's basically, here we go, a tour sticker. So if you went to one of the following places and cities, you got a sticker. Okay, so 4th of December in Moondogs in Chicago, Illinois. 5th of December, Lone Star, Dallas, Texas. Golden Apple, Los Angeles on the 6th of December. Comics Unlimited, Orange County on the 7th of December, or Page to Page, I think that says, Las Vegas, 8th of December. This is 1992. And you got a sticker that said, I met Joe Jusko on his Marvel Masterpieces North American Tour, December 1992.
What?
What a bonkers collector's item that would be to
No
have.
way. That's
Yeah.
nuts.
Did you not see the picture I shared on group? I'm going to have to put that up.
I don't
Right.
think. Yeah, please. I want to see that again.
So what I'm going to do is as we mentioned a couple of episodes back, there will be a post on Instagram and there will be a post on both of the groups on Facebook with any of the images and any of the stuff we're talking about in that, and any links to anything. So once you finish, you can even press pause now if you want. Go and check the internet. Lovely, they've unpaused. We're back.
Done.
And you can see a picture of that sticker. So that's absolutely bonkers. And then, via the joys of, in fact, one of these Joe posted, and one of these again I found online. There were the adverts from 2 of those stores. So I've got an advert here for Golden Apple in LA. That basically says, in person, Joe Jusko, artist of the new Skybox Marvel Masterpieces cards. Purchasers will receive, along with their box of cards, a specially signed tour certificate sticker, which I think is what we were just talking about, and an extra pack of cards. Joe will sign the certificate sticker and the 6 cards in the extra pack. In order to allow everyone time with Joe, attendance will be limited to 100 people at each location. Pre-orders will be taken beginning Saturday, November 14th. So I'm not sure if they mean pre-orders for that signing or pre-orders for the set, because I think the set came out in October 92.
I think so too.
So 100 people, I'm going to assume that these events were full. Okay. So there's at least from the Golden Apple store, there's 100 of those out in the world.
Wow.
Why don't I own one? This is the question I need to ask.
I've never seen that.
No,
I've never
and
seen it,
then
like,
page after page bookstore, which is I think, I can't remember where that was now. I've not got the sticker on my screen. Again, they've done their own little flyer. Creator of Marvel Masterpieces, Joe Jusko, special tour boxes, uncut sheet giveaways, original art displays, previews of upcoming works, and special invitations available. So it's kind of an ad for them as well. I wonder if any of these places still exist.
Could you imagine? You go to one of those places and they're like, we might have a box in the back.
Yeah, exactly. And there's these old photos. I found a photo of Joe signing San Diego Comic-Con in July 92, and he's signing the prototype cards. And portrait of the artist as a younger man. He looks he looks fit. He looks good. So there's some good stuff out there, and what a great time to be alive if you were around and on the ground and going to those events when the set
and collecting those things. Yeah,
at the beginning.
That always kind of crazy to me.
Yeah,
because I don't really know. Like, I always wonder how big was the audience back then as opposed to today. Like, what's been the change in numbers of collectors for Marvel trading cards? Because it is kind of a niche hobby, right? It is a smaller group, I think, or maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I don't realize how massive this is, and I don't know.
Well, I think the main difference is at that point, Marvel was producing an enormous volume of cards. Comics.
Yeah, that's right.
So there were titles upon titles, and you remember it got a bit crazy in the years that followed, with
I remember
regular covers, with the polybagged editions, with the foil covers, and at the time you were kind of looking at it, and I remember some of the artwork that came out. People's thighs were bigger than their torsos. It was crazy stuff. I'm not talking about Joe's work on Marvel Masterpieces, by the way.
No. There were a lot of artists being pushed around on particular projects and deadlines.
And it was the style. It was the style, and there was a lot going on. There was a lot happening. So, and I think there were a lot of readers, and there was a lot of product. And at the time, these cards were still distributed everywhere.
Yeah.
There's a reason that many boxes were made. It's because they were going not just to comic shops and hobby stores, they were going general distribution. You know from the following years of Marvel Masterpieces that Walmart carried them, that Target carried them, places like that. So
Well,
I
like
think,
stands in malls would
yeah,
carry it. We had a movie theater, and there was this little stand in front of the movie theater where they sold Pogs and Slammers, if you remember all that kind of stuff,
yeah, yeah.
all the 90s memorabilia. And they had cards there, and you could just pick up a pack and just walk and, just go. And it
That's
was just this really,
absolutely bonkers.
in a vending spot in a mall.
Yeah.
Those
Okay.
don't even exist anymore. Yeah.
So here's the thing. So with 92 on Jeff's site, it has items related to the set, and it has
Oh,
Shatterstar as a sticker distributed in Pizza Hut vending machines. So if you're the
okay.
collector, there were sticker versions of some of these cards.
Yes, there
But
are, and they're Prism, right?
yeah,
They have so yeah, those are extremely rare. You can
I
find them on eBay.
I
Yeah.
believe so. I've been looking. I've not seen them. There is a site, the name of which escapes me, of a collector that's just got virtually everything that we're talking about here. I can't remember the guy's name now, but there is a site, a Marvel card collecting site that's literally like a museum of all the stuff you think, oh, I've never seen that, but I see it listed. And if you
Oh,
think,
we got
oh,
to see
let me go
that. We got to
looking,
find
but
that guy.
I can't remember the name of it.
Hmm.
Dear listeners, apologies. We need to start doing our research before we actually push record on these things. So we'll find that and we'll post that up with the link. But I think there were more than one sticker. So there's only the one listed here, but there are other stickers that went out there. And then, of course, there's the uncut panels. You've got a 24 card panel with a certificate of authenticity, limited 2,600 copies.
Wow.
You've got a 9 card panel, printer's proof. You've got a 30 card panel, which is 6 of each of the battle spectra. I've not even seen some of these. 30 card panel. I think I've just said that. 100 card of the complete base set. I have that. It's
Really?
yeah, it's rolled in a tube behind me. I still need to get it framed.
Wow.
But for the moment, it's in there being protected. I bought it off a guy in the US a couple of years back now, and it wasn't cheap. A couple of hundred, maybe.
Wow.
But it's stunning, and it'll look amazing when it's framed. Anyway, 20 card panel you can get of the Spectra cards, and you can get a 78 card panel of the promos, which is then repeated basically in a different configuration. So it's 76
Huh.
cards, but you've got 13 rows of the 6 cards. I think you've got 30 Hulk, 24 Psylocke, 3 Surfers, 15 Spider-Man, 6 Wolverine on that sheet. So, but some of these I've literally never seen at all. Now, the one thing I do have on the way, Joe very kindly recently found some, I believe, of the 24 card panels, which are the ones with 6 of each of the promos repeated.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of on there. So it's Spidey, Hulk, Captain America, Wolverine, and he found I think 10 of these, maybe 20, sealed in an envelope, and in there was a letter from the manufacturers to dealers. So absolutely like brand new mint with the envelope. And he very kindly put them available on our group
Yeah, I know.
to sell, and he would sign them, which is lovely. And then he later went back and added, off his own back, didn't increase the price or anything, that he would do a small remark or a small picture on there, just a very small, just a tiny
What a
thing,
gem. What a gem.
which is nice. So I've got one of those on the way, with
Yeah.
of course Black Cat on, so which is good. So I'll have that. But the set is just every time I look at it, there's stuff that I spot, and I know that over the years in interviews there there's been stories about some of the paintings Joe wasn't maybe as happy with, because he felt that he rushed them a bit because of his schedule, and he was literally like not
I
sleeping.
mean, he did what, 99 pieces? I think that's the list. Yeah, 99 plus the spec, which plus 5 of the Spectra,
Yeah,
and then 5 of the bonus cards.
that's right.
So that's 109, whatever it is, individual original pieces of artwork
Yeah,
that he had to make. That's a lot of work.
But he didn't just do that, and I'm seeing if I can reach it without pulling the microphone cable out. So apologies if I suddenly drop off. He also did. They released a comic version of. They released a comic, a
Yes.
4-issue comic.
Yeah.
But I think
Love
there
that.
were extra paintings in that were not in the original set release for various reasons. Maybe they didn't meet approval guidelines. Maybe they weren't quite finished. I don't know. So there are paintings within these 4 that weren't in the cards, that weren't issued as cards. So I need to look through those and figure them out. I'm hoping one day Joe will come on and talk about all this stuff with us, but of course he got the opportunity to go back and do it all again with time to do it, and and kind of you would think on his own terms.
I wonder how much of that. I mean, to be honest, I don't mean to be a broken record, but coming from a surfer background, the surfer's been banned due to that prior agreement between Marvel and Fox, Disney and Fox, where their FF characters, Fantastic Four characters, were banned from, and other characters, Gambit and some other people, were banned from being into the card industry and printed and so forth. And Jusko did a Gambit, a Silver Surfer, characters we hadn't really seen popping up in these trading cards for a while.
Yeah,
so I imagine what that was.
No, there's a date thing with that. If you look at Marvel Masterpieces, what we know as 2016,
Right.
was started. I believe the work started on that in 2014. So if you look at a lot of the paintings, they say that it's got Joe's signature and the dates. So some of them are 14, some of them are 15. And I know that a lot of the sketch cards went out early. So a lot of the sketch cards, people have signed them 2014, 2015. And I think some of the promos from 2016 actually had 2014 or 2015 on them.
I think they did, yeah.
So that exclusion of characters, I think that came in a bit later, or it may well be that by the time the set was released, that was in place, but the legal, the contract or whatever, and the work had started before that. I'm pretty certain that was a more recent thing, because it ties in with about the time they disappeared from comics.
That's probably true.
Do you remember Marvel stopped printing Fantastic Four comics around the time that film with Miles Teller? And
so was that 2013, 2014? I feel like those were the years, because I'm looking at the card, because in 2012 you had Marvel Premiere and they featured Surfer.
Oh yeah.
And I think, looking at my set, I'd have to take it out. I think basically he was out around or after that time, because he wasn't in the 2014 Marvel Premiere, and that's when the ban for sketch cards came out too, I believe.
I think it was locked.
I think you're right.
I think it was locked. But listen, they came out when they were ready. They were allowed the time that he needed to do them.
And that's so important. It's so important. You have to do that.
And they are absolutely stunning. I mean, you're talking for 2016, you're talking what, 130 pieces?
Yeah, I think that was the list. I have to look.
Because you've got the 90 base, then you've got 10 canvas.
Yeah.
So that's artwork for those. Then you've got Battle Spectra. That's about 15 of those, I think.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you've got the what are they called? Brain fart. Help me out.
You have the Mirage, which is the 4 things. But you have to do that. You had the canvas. You had the gallery. Well, the canvas was the gallery. So 100 cards. So basically the 4 tiers were up to 100.
So well, it was actually base 1 to 90 with the 4 tiers, and then canvas was 91 to 100.
Right.
And then you had the Battle Spectra. There were 15 of those, and then you had holofoil. That's what I was struggling to remember. You had
holofoil. That's it.
So you got 20. You got 35 there. So 135 pieces there. Yeah.
So much work. And then he did
big set.
And then he came out with a book which is just such a nice piece to have. And then there's like 10 paintings inside of that. You
Yes,
got Galactus and just I think Mr. Fantastic is there too.
exactly.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just reeled off the numbers from 2018. Apologies, listeners, before you rush to the phones. Battle Spectra was 16 cards in 2016, and the Holofoil was 17 cards.
Wow.
And that's absolutely bonkers. And then, of course, in 2016, you had the buyback cards.
Mm,
So because there's so many of the 92 out there, what Upper Deck did was, one assumed they paid for them, hence the name buyback. They bought them back from
yeah.
Diz or whoever had them,
Well, that's
and
what's going on right now with the Flare product because Flare 2019 is coming out, and then all these collectors are putting their sets on eBay, and prices jumped because
oh
they're
really?
seeing. Yeah, well, I think what's going on is that I do think there's Flare buybacks because it's
Oh
on the
wow.
checklist.
Okay.
I think collectors got wind of that a little early, and they were like, "Okay, let me put my main sets up here so Upper Deck can buy back for me." So I think it's pretty fun. I think people are catching on, which is pretty funny to see what's
That's
happening.
hilarious. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
yeah.
So of course those buybacks came out, and they are the same card, basically the 1992 card, but all they've done is put them through some sort of printing process and stamped a foil silver M on them, I believe.
I love that Silver M.
Which is
I don't know why.
so. I've got to get a bigger 92 binder because
Yeah, you
although
gotta
it
have the
came
full
out in
buyback.
2016,
Hmm.
I want those 99. I want those 92 cards sitting in my 92 binder as
That'd be sick.
kind of a parallel variant set of those because
Hmm.
92 didn't have any variant versions like 2016 did.
Yeah.
Had multiple ones of them. So 2016 pretty much changed the way. I mean, pretty much broke the mold, if you will, but also set a new mold for the way that 2018 and a few of the other sets do something similar. But one would assume Marvel Masterpieces 2020 question mark, if there is going to be one,
I
would
think I don't know
follow.
if it has to be. I think it's going to be 2021. I don't think they'll do that. They're coming out with Flare. They're going to do Premiere. If they do 2020, they're really on top of their game. Contacting. I hope. I don't know. See, there's a couple different ways they can do it. They can contact 4 artists, which I forget what year did that in. That was 95.
95. Yeah.
95 had 4 artists, and then you had Julie and Boris, which was 96.
96. Yeah.
So you could have the alternating of that, and that's the only way I can see them doing a 2020 is if there was either 4 artists or a team artists. I don't know.
Well, you say that, but as soon as 2016 dropped, Simone was working on 2018.
Who's
Simone
that
was
artist who's working on the
yeah.
next set? Dying.
That's the thing. Simone was head down, sitting in his wonderful Italian sunshine.
Loft, which looks so cool, by
Yeah.
the way.
Um, painting away,
Yeah,
grafting at those wonderful paintings that came out for the
beautiful.
2018 set. And he had again, I mean, obviously there's a deadline, but
Yeah,
he had time to produce. I mean, every artist works differently at a different pace. They do different
right.
things. They use different materials, different techniques. The paintings will be different sizes
Yeah.
because not all of the cards for 2018 are the same size painting. We know that from
No, some of them are
seeing the
very
exhibition.
large. Yeah.
So, and some of them are smaller than you'd expect. So, and I imagine it's the same for Joe. I don't know, but I have to. In my heart, I believe that as we're talking now, someone
Someone's working on it.
is painting away, and it's someone of note. So,
Oh,
speculation.
I'm
Maybe
very
we will
excited.
right.
I'm really excited to see who ends up being the face of the next Marvel Masterpiece set. By the way, just so everybody knows, um, some of the original sizes of the 92 were smaller than the 2018. Josh has a few, and he posted that Kingpin recently. And it's not a particularly large painting, but
Oh,
there's,
isn't it?
I mean, quite a bunch of detail and
Yeah.
beautiful color in there.
Yeah.
But if anyone's interested, some of the original artwork for Simone's pieces for 2018 masterpieces are not quite a few, but a few are up on the comicconnect.com. So if you want to see the original artwork and see the size, I mean, the prices are, the prices of original art, but you can go look at some of the originals and see just how vibrant they are. It's a very cool thing in case anybody wants to take a look.
Well, the other beautiful thing is that when they all came out online back in October, I think, Metropolis in New York had an exhibition of half of the paintings.
I wish I could have gone to that.
I know.
I should have gone to that.
Well, me too, brother. But what I did do is I merrily downloaded the highest resolution copies of all of those paintings from their website. So what we will also do is, and I've been meaning to do this for a while, I'm gonna set up an album on the MMC group.
Ooh,
And
that's awesome.
all of those images in there. I'll also put them on a drive so that people can download the high res ones, because when you put them on Facebook, they get compressed and
Compressed pretty hard. Yeah, I think that'd be awesome.
So I've got those for the most part. However, what I don't have is the other half of the paintings were an exhibition in, is it Lucca or Lucca? Lucca. Yeah, I think
it's Lucca.
Lucca. I want to say Lucca because it sounds Italian.
You would know better than I do.
You know what? I'm going to go Lucca. I'm going to go Lucca.
I'll go Lucca with you. I'll follow suit.
Matt D or even Simone, correct us if we are horribly wrong.
Yeah.
So one thing I don't have is the paintings that were there as online images, because I didn't. It was kind of, there was stuff going on when it went live, and I didn't really, and it was in Italian as well, so I didn't really find.
There's a guy in our group who I invited, a guy or girl, I actually don't know, because their handle doesn't say much of that. But it's images something. I believe it's in Spanish. You've seen it. I'm going through all my groups now to see. It's we will link something below. Oh, there you go. Images. I am AGENS del Cuadritos. I can't pronounce that. And this person, he has like a Cookie Monster avatar.
Mm-hmm.
He or she definitely collects all of the high res images, from comic books to cards. He did a Jusko one, so he or she has a lot of albums on their group page, and they're friends with us on MCC and MCCW.
Wow.
So he has some of those pieces from the Lucca.
Right.
Actually.
Okay.
So in case you're missing those, in case the listeners want to check that person out, they really go out of their way to collect all these, and they're definitely a fan of the card series too.
That sounds cool. I'm gonna have to check that out, because what I would love to do is just bring them together in an album in the group.
I think that's the way to go.
Alternatively, we started on 92. We started on Joe. We've gone to Simone without realizing it. So we're going to keep our powder dry on Simone. But the one thing I will say is, for both 2016 and 2018, kind of separately, because Joe did his through IDW, and Simone, I think, self-published his. They've both got books out of the original paintings.
Yeah, they do. So, I got to get the 2018 one.
It's worth picking up. It's worth picking up. But 2016, of course, was just, I mean, it was vast. And I have to say, when it came out, I didn't really appreciate how it was structured, how to go about collecting it. I had stuff that I parted with soon after release that I regret parting with now, because I didn't really know what I had. So, I had a signed card, and this is the first Marvel Masterpieces set that had actual artist signatures. So Joe,
I mean, for the MM16?
Yeah, MM16 when it came out. But that's the thing, unless you were, properly on your, I just didn't appreciate the scale of it, the set, how to get around it, which is why I was kind of prepared for 2018. I knew what I was going for.
That's what happened.
What I was going to get.
That's what happened with a lot of collectors. Yeah, because 2016, right? That was, I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like that was the new business model for Upper Deck and trading cards. That was the tier system. That was the introduction. And this is all still really fresh, but even EPAC for MM16, Joe's work, people saw very quickly that set, and we'll talk more about this on an investment episode, but that set was going to be the set that was going to be a staple for the series, just like 92 was.
Mm.
And the rarity was there. The rarity for 92 wasn't necessarily there.
Yeah, it had the 1996 rarity factor.
Yeah,
Definitely.
right, exactly. Yeah, but MM16 is by far probably one of the most sought out, other than 96, probably one of the most sought out. You can't find a full set like you could. Like, it's very difficult to get the cards you want for MM816.
Yeah.
People are holding on to those pretty
Yeah,
tight.
I mean, I've still got I've still got some gaps just in tier 3. You know, I'm not.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
expensive.
still. Yeah, well, to be honest with you, I could have done it if I'd put my mind to it. I was just focused on 2018. But I've still yet to finish 1 to 81. For example, I don't think I can't remember what card number Thanos is in 2016, but I don't have the base, the what if, or the gold signature at all for that set. I think it's is it 64?
Yeah, I'll get it right now.
Here we go. I think it might be card 64 as an example.
Yeah,
And you know,
64.
and of course,
Yeah.
once you get into the tier 3 area, you get, and that's the first one of tier 3. So there's only a limited number of the cards. You know, there's only so many of the gold sig.
999 for tier 3.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. There's only so many of the what if. I think the what if for tier 3 are 499. So
yeah, they drop.
You know, and then you get into tier 4, which are cards 81 to 90, which is only 50 of them. 50.
Yeah, tell me about it.
Yeah, so I very quickly, and in fact, I actually did do this with 2016 and with 2018. I was like, you know what, forget it. You know, I'm just not going there. It's fine. You know, I'll be.
No, you have to. You can't
Yeah.
do that. I mean, it's like I paid. It was a 1 of 50. The Surfer What If tier 4. I paid good money for that one because I mean I still haven't seen one, and if I see one, it's at least over $400 for one card.
Wow.
No, it's ridiculous. Like the what if 1 out of 50 Silver Surfer I bought. I don't want to say a price because I'm embarrassed.
Hang on. Wind up. You've got serial number 1 of 50, Silver Surfer What If Marvel Masterpieces 2016.
I showed you. Yeah.
Shut the front door.
What do you mean? You don't believe me?
No, I do believe you. And listen, you've probably told me, but I've been to sleep since then, so I can't keep track of what everyone's got.
No, of course not. No, I mean that's kind of the fun thing about the group too, right? You're like, wow, these people really have all these pieces at their fingertips. But yeah, I do. And then the crazy thing is, I'm sure people who know my collection are just like, Jesus. But
oh, okay. For those listening, which is everyone other than Noah and myself, he's showing me over a video the What If 1 of 50 Silver Surfer Tier 4 card from Marvel Masterpieces 2016.
And then I have its partner in crime, the 1 out of 10 signed Joe Jusko. What If?
Yes. Now that I do remember seeing. Wow. Okay, so basically, Joe signed 10 of those cards.
Right.
So not 10 of the 50. There were another set of 10 printed 1 to 10.
Yeah.
In a slightly different gold foil, I believe, on the numbering on the back.
You know what? Let me double check. I think
I have a feeling that is the kind of detail that goes into these. And when people sort of don't understand why it's such a premium product, they're thick cards.
Yeah, they're thick. Well, I mean, they feel
quality.
It's crazy to say that because, you know, honestly, I made, you know, just not to jump the conversation a little bit, but red spectrums are 1 of 1s.
Mm-hmm.
And the price that I know the person who has the Silver Surfer red spec, that's so much money. I'm probably not going to do that because for that I can just buy original art, and I haven't come to terms with it yet. But I did get the red spectrum Colossus from MM18, and I will say this: I was a big talker about red specs. I was like, yeah, it's red foil. I mean, is it that big of a difference? But man, when you see the card in your hand and you get that, you see the quality there and you look at it, you understand why it's the one of one, and especially the signatures. The signatures are done in silver Sharpie or silver pen. It sits well on the gloss. Like you definitely, there's a lot of care. This number on the back of the MM16 for the autos is actually a rainbow foil, silver rainbow foil.
Gotcha.
So it's not gold foil, but it is and on the regular what ifs, the silver numbers are just silver. But on the back of the autos, it is a rainbow spectrum type
and
of.
this is tiny printed writing, so it's a really small detail.
Tiny. No bigger than my fingernail.
Yeah.
Like
So
half
it
the size
is.
of my fingernail.
It's bonkers. And I mean, I wasn't fortunate enough to get any reds for 2016. There's only hey, listen, you know, if I had one of those, I'd meet you on a yacht in the Caribbean somewhere.
Seriously.
But I've been lucky enough to get 2 for 2018 that I bought. I didn't pull them. But one of them,
for, though.
yeah, exactly. And listen, you know, I just kind of wanted to own one just so that I had one. In all fairness, but I grabbed the 2, and I was like, you know what? One of them, I've just fallen in love with the artwork, and I've built a rainbow. For those listening who don't know what a rainbow is,
right, which would be important to have a discussion one day about.
Yeah, exactly. We'll cover that, because if we go into all of this detail. But and one of them I kind of looked at, and I was like, you know what, I'm not feeling it. To be fair, neither I have in hand. Both of them are sitting with you because we haven't shipped.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. So actually, my rainbow is sat with you. So we'll get some shipping, and we'll talk about that on a future episode, because I've not really talked about that yet to the group. So cool. All right, listen, Joe. You started it all for me in terms of Marvel Masterpieces, and obviously you came back into the fray. You've been very kind enough to join the group and, you know, share stuff with us. And we thank you and love you for it. Respecting the fact that you are a busy guy. You travel around a lot. You go to cons. When you go into painting mode, you're just kind of off the grid, and you're doing stuff, and the quality of the work that you do, and you push out on your Instagram feed so people can see the progress and the actual, you know, the creative process behind that is wonderful. So thank you for that. Keep doing it. I'm hoping that you'll come on to the pod at some date, and we can talk about it. And listen, I can talk about these sets for forever, but you know, people have got someone's still sat in their car waiting to go into the office trying to finish this episode.
I did want to say one thing before we sign off about 92, just to talk about them in a design way, right? Or just to talk about them like on things that were kind of in the cards, because we did go off talking about rarity and sets and numbers. Might as well look at the art, because the art is just, I mean, it's inescapably beautiful. So for me, and this is a question I want to ask Ian. When you look at these cards, right, there's a couple of things you look at. You look at the poses of the characters. You look at the backdrops. You look at the color palette. Yep. What's the thing for 92 that just always seems to bring you back into admiring the pieces?
I'll tell you what it is for me, and this is a small detail, but it's a detail that they actually brought back in brilliant way for 2016 and 2018. If you look at the way the card is framed, the style of the lettering, first of all, the painting, this wasn't on the painting, but on the card you kind of have a border that's set in from the edge of the card, and it's just a printed border, and it's in, I guess it's kind of supposed to be a gold color. Sorry, I'm looking at the card right now. It's
definitely gold. It's definitely gold.
And then that border breaks at the bottom, and there's a gap, and it says 1992 Marvel Masterpieces. Okay, the style of the lettering just to me screams quality. It just has a weight to it. And then above that, I assume in a different version of the same font but bigger, is the name of the character depicted on the card. So which which actually, and I think this is probably more perhaps a printing limitation of the time. On some cards, that does blend in a little bit because they don't
Yeah.
vary the color of it.
But it's
So
gold with a drop shadow of like this purple.
exactly.
Something like that. Yeah.
And you know, listen, you're very much on the design wavelength. You've designed all of the logos for the groups. You've designed the logo for the podcast. You know, that is very much your visually
Yeah. Well,
talented
I
guy.
recreated the cards to do a members card for the group.
You did.
And I had to recreate it from scratch. So I got very intimate with the pieces because I had to look at it from a deconstruction kind of perspective where I had to break down all the elements that were in the design of the card, especially the graphic design, not necessarily the paint, which can never be duplicated, but the graphic work and the decisions that were made there. And I find it was really fun. I think Upper Deck does a very interesting job to keep it subtle.
Yeah,
Not
very
overwhelm,
subtle.
which I like. I think actually, looking at 92, I'm looking. I don't have the full set in front of me. Which is the sad part about being a character collector. Sometimes you don't like. I have a full set of the 93. I just by chance I just found one cheap enough to own it. But 92, I still have to get a full set.
Oh, mate, you've got to sort that out.
I know. I have most of it. Like I had most of it when I was a kid, but the quality, I wasn't the best collector back in the day.
Yeah. Tell me about it. Nor was anyone.
No, was anyone, right? I mean, they're so subtle. It's just a gold thin line border.
It's very thin.
It's
very thin, but it basically maintains the tone throughout the set. What I love about it is that the way they've done it is that they have allowed the painting or broken the line to give the effect that certain elements of the painting come before the line, so you have depth to it. So a prime example,
foreground, middle ground, background with the graphic weight.
A prime example is Doctor Doom, which is card 26. Doctor Doom is there, and his fist is forward. He's on the control of whatever machine he's in, and it just breaks over that borderline, and it's in the foreground. So the design of them just gives the paintings. I mean, listen, these are incredibly rich, incredibly deep, incredibly detailed paintings anyway, but it just gives them that extra element of frame. It's a framing device, but it just pushes it out there. And what I love about it on the back as well, and we're going to do an episode about the backs of cards because there's a serious discussion to be had there. But on the back of Marvel Masterpieces, I don't just like to look at the front of the cards. I like to look at the back of it.
I like to read them. I like to see the back. Yeah, I agree.
And listen, I'd like it to be correct, and for the most part it is, but we've all seen cards where they've got facts wrong and things like that. Anyway,
unfortunately.
But it has a small little panel on the back, which is the picture of the first cover appearance of that character. And then it has the same text on the back, and it just has a little bit of sketch, just a little bit of detail about the character, their first appearance, their real name, if it's appropriate. And it just has a flow to it, the design that moves through, and it feels like a masterpiece. They have
you have this marble kind of layout in the back. So it feels very premium.
Yeah,
and then
marbling.
You have this beautiful color palette that changes from character to character.
Yeah.
So like when I was making the member cards, like someone wanted Wolverine, I had to look for the yellow or the blue to see what Upper Deck used if they were a Wolverine collector.
It was a blue.
It was a
blue. 94, on the it's card 94 of MM92.
Of the 92.
Yeah.
And you can just see how each one, like Dark Hawk was blue. Like you can just see what they were doing. And then interestingly, I've just found it now, Thing versus Hulk, which I believe is the Spectra.
Yes, I'm just getting to it.
They actually did a crossover between aqua blue and green. And it's this beautiful mixture.
They've done it on a few of them. I've never noticed that before. They've done it on all of the Battle Spectras.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So on the back of the card, okay, get yourself a Marvel Masterpieces card. Okay. Look on the back. On the left
Yeah.
hand, this is blowing my mind. I never noticed that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's really cool. It's a
Wow.
really cool decision.
That's really cool. Okay,
Yeah.
this is one of the small things I love about these cards is they keep
Me too.
surprising you decades later. You're
Yeah.
looking at the back of this card and you can see the left-hand side has got a marble panel that runs maybe 25% across the card, and that is that coloured. But on the battle spectra, where you have two characters fighting each other, it changes colour as you look at
It
it. So
changed
yes,
color.
Thing versus Hulk is blue and green. You've
Yep.
got Captain America and Red Skull goes from a kind of a red to a vibrant kind of purple. You've
Yep.
got Wolverine and Sabretooth is the blue, same blue that's on base card 94 that goes to an orange for Sabretooth. It's wonderful. It's a wonderful detail. I
Yeah,
love it.
it's really cool to see that blend, that gradient blend.
But on the
Yeah.
promos, that bar of marbled color doesn't go down the left hand side of the card. It goes across the
Right,
top.
that's the top.
Yeah.
And with the emblem really large, which I really like.
Yeah, so it's good. It stands up today. I mean, it's absolutely timeless set. You look at some sets from the
100%.
'90s and even the noughties, and you look at them and they kind of feel of the time. They feel maybe a bit dated in some cases. Not that's a
I
bad
do.
thing, you know.
No, not at all. I mean, I think what's nice about cards, and this is what I'm starting to learn about collectors and collecting as a hobby, is that when you start really getting into it, where you're not the casual collector, where you're trying to do a full encapsulation. Like when you do a full set, the step up from getting a full set is getting all the promo releases, is
Yeah,
getting all the brochures, getting
yeah.
the posters, getting all the marketing
Oh,
stuff,
the sell sheets
which,
and the
the
promo
sell
folders.
sheets,
Yeah,
which can be a nightmare to find in good condition. And what you're actually doing, which I'm just really getting into right now, is you're documenting history
Mm.
of the piece.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm starting to learn from these collectors, especially being into the collecting that I've done recently. You're collecting these the encapsulations of these moments.
Yeah.
And this kind of like, especially when you look in the back of the cards, like in 92 Marvel Universe actually has one of my favorite backings and colorful things ever. And that's where they have the power ratings. And I just love seeing that color palette and seeing how it, yeah. And then it just kind of carries over into the other cards as well. And then you have a really 90s deco type of thing in, I forget what it is, what year this is, I believe 93 Universe, where they do something different. And these feel like cards you collect with your friends to be like, oh, the Surfer can do this, or Wolverine can do this.
Yeah.
And then when you do Marvel Masterpiece, you're like, this is the first appearance.
Mm.
And that just elevates.
It's the legacy of it.
See, and there's like this marker between Masterpiece and others. And I feel like 92 from painting to design was so consistent.
Mm.
That's what really impresses me. Really,
what I'd really love to do. What I'd really love to do is one of the reasons why those flyers and that sticker. I found images of those online.
Yeah,
finding actual copies of those now would be nigh on impossible because the flyers would have been very throwaway, printed by the store on regular paper. So this is why I like to keep the images of those so that you at least have a record of how the set was released, how it was marketed, what kind of effort went into it to get it out there. The other thing I would love to do is, wouldn't it be great if we could have one of the guys in the design team who put some of these sets together? I mean, if you're out there, the guys who used to work at Skybox.
I'd love to talk to them. Yeah.
Yeah, I just loved, Skybox. Here we go. Wouldn't it be great to just have these guys, tell us, how did you do it? How did you make those decisions? What did you
Well, these women and men designers, like, what were the decisions? What were the things you put together? Why did you do those decisions? What was your inspiration? Because I think, this podcast really should be a place. It's going to be the only place on the internet where you're going to have these conversations about not only the artwork, but the design work.
Absolutely.
And that they're 50% of each one of these cards you hold in your hand, you turn to the back, that's all design.
Mm.
In the front, it's a painting. In the back, it's the design. You're 50-50 when you're looking at this hobby.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
seeing that kind of balance. It's very cool, and I'd love to talk to those people. Yeah,
It's
for
wonderful.
sure.
It's wonderful. So listen, there's a lot of things that we'd like to talk about. There's a lot of people we want to talk to. There's a lot of people we'd like to interview. So, and we absolutely will. I think this is going to be our longest episode so far, and I could carry on.
Yeah.
But I think we'll wrap for today, except to say Marvel Masterpieces 1992. If you want to pick up a set and you don't have it, not talking to you, Norrin, although the fact that you don't
I
have
need
one,
to.
shame
I know
on
it's
you.
devastating.
They are, they are affordable. They are out there. There are a lot of them are out there as well.
Yeah.
So you will be able to pick those up. And also, sorry, you mentioned Marvel Universe. I think 1992, which was Series 3. The background of all the front of the cards is Joe Jusko painted.
Yep, he sure did.
And he posted that on MCCW a number of months back, an actual picture of the actual artwork that sits behind that, which, if I remember correctly, he said was a bit of a pain to paint.
Well, you have to think about it, right? I mean,
yeah.
You're breaking down those cards, and there's a dimension quality there, right? Because
exactly.
then you have to understand how much is going to be in every limited amount of space.
Yeah.
So when you look at the piece on a larger scope, it's very cool.
Yeah.
To see what he had to do. Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I think, listen, we'll talk about Marvel Universe sets.
Yeah, we'll get back to it. Yeah.
We'll get back to that. We're going to talk about Flair. We're going to talk about Flair 19. We're going to talk about Premiere. At some point, we're going to talk about the really early sets, the Silver Age set, the Marvel Creators Collection, those late
the Spider-Man
90s
sets,
that first had the sketchographs. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we got a lot to cover. We got a lot of episodes coming to you guys.
Exactly. So, and we're going to carry on. But like I said, at the end of the pod, you'll hear the link to where to find us. You'll hear the links to the groups. You'll hear the links to the Instagram pages. And any suggestions you have, any questions you have, even if you just want to come on and say hi, just leave us a message at anchor.com, and the link will be in the outro at the end of the episode. Thank you, Norrin. It's been emotional. It's been emotional. I just need to go and sit down quietly with my cards for a bit.
Oh yeah, for sure. No,
that's what I'm going to go and do. Cool. Until next time, folks. Thanks for being here. I've been Ian Taylor, which I didn't say again at the top of the episode, I don't think. And you've been Norrin Rad. Great.
All right, guys. Happy collecting.
Thanks for listening to the Marvel Card Collectors Podcast. You can subscribe via our home on anchor.fm/MCCP. Leave us a message via that link with questions, comments, or just to say hi, and we may even play on the show. We'll also be on iTunes and most other main podcast platforms soon. On Facebook, you can find Marvel Card Collectors Worldwide by searching MCCW, and Marvel Masterpieces Collectors by searching MMC. On Instagram, find us at MMCollectors and at SketchCardHive. The great music we use is called Rocket Power by Kevin MacLeod. Thanks to the collectors, artists, and creators who support the Marvel Cards Fan Collective. We'll see you next time, and remember, it's a small hobby, but a fun one. Make mine Marvel, and enjoy collecting.